All right, this is Hood Historian 562. We will be talking about this slum apartment building in Santa Ana in 1980. So check this out, and we're about to have a deep dive into this video.
The 71 tenants in these two buildings on Myrtle Street have been complaining for some time about the condition of their buildings. The landlord hasn't responded, so on Monday, the city finally took some action. But it wasn't exactly the kind of action the tenants had in mind. A Superior Court judge.
So the people of Santa Ana on Myrtle Street in this apartment building, they've been complaining about the apartment building being in slum conditions all this time, and the owner is MIA. But the city of Santa Ana put these building is unsafe to occupy signs all over and kicking everybody out. Everybody gotta go. So the owner of the building, nothing. But everybody else, the poor people, the black and the brown poor in this apartment building in Santa Ana, they have to go.
The judge said the buildings were unsafe and ordered all the tenants moved out immediately. Guadalupe Valencia lives in the building with her.
Now look at this. You can see a black lady right here. You can see the brown folks of Santa Ana. And if this was a regular thing in Santa Ana to have black people and Latinos all together and this is what it was in Santa Ana in certain areas, and a lot of people don't know that, but this was like normal everyday Santa Ana right here.
Her 5 children. She told a group of reporters that she and her children will be out on the street if they're evicted from their apartment. Helen Brown of the Santa Ana Neighborhood Organization says that the city is not going to get rid of overcrowding and slum conditions by throwing people out on the street.
I suggest that the city attempt to try and take these buildings, just as they do in redevelopment, and rehabilitate them with federal funds, bring them up to code, and allow the people to be able to live in them under Section 8 certificates and keep these housing units in this city. For every housing unit that's torn down, you're not going to get rid of these people in no fashion. They're going to stay right here. They're going to move next door. They're going to move down the street. COSA was passed primarily to alleviate overcrowding. It hasn't done anything. They're still here. You can tear this one down. You can tear that one down. They're still going to be here. They're not going anywhere.
She's a lady, Ruth Brown. What was her name? Helen Brown. She's a woman ahead of her time, and she was speaking for the people. And she's right. Just because you go to tear something down, the people of that neighborhood, they're not going anywhere. They live over there, so they're gonna just move over to the next apartment building. They're just gonna move over to the next house. They just gonna move over to the next back house. They're not going nowhere. That's their hood. They're not moving. So she's right. Fix the apartment buildings. Do that. You want to kick everybody out? No. Tell the owners to fix the apartment buildings or take the apartment buildings from the slum owners. You guys they were taking everybody else's property, eminent domain and this and that. So you mean to tell me this guy making money off the residents, but the apartment building is in shambles? He should be able to get his property forfeited.
The manager of this building, a woman named Ann Taylor, wasn't available for comment, but her attorney, Donald Odell, said the reason the buildings are so run down is because they're overcrowded. The building inspector disagreed. He said they're run down because they haven't been maintained properly.
So they have the nerve to say the reason why the building is run down because they're overcrowded. That's the least of your worries. The buildings have to be maintained, and there's a certain code. There's certain standards that apartments must be in, and it was substandard. So for them to say overcrowding, that's the least of your worries right now, because the apartment building is dilapidated.
Building Inspector Jay Sheldon says the buildings are in gross violation of the building code.
Okay.
Shout out to Jay Sheldon. This old school dude, look at him. This old school building inspector. He was probably working since the 1940s. He's probably a World War II vet. In 1980, he was still doing his thing. Rest in peace. Yeah, I know you passed away, but you know what? We shout out the average Joes on my page.
The main violations we have found have been, I'll have to refer to a letter here, it's much simpler. Plumbing is very substandard. Leaks, pipes broken, overflowing of toilets, that type of thing. Windows are inoperative, missing glass.
Now, what does what does this have to do with overcrowding? What does that hole in the roof, in the ceiling, what does that have to do with overcrowding? It has nothing to do with, overcrowding. No, you have a hole. You have a hole in the ceiling. So don't say overcrowding. It got shit to do with overcrowding. Stop it.
Severe damage to ceilings because of water leakage. Flooring in hazardous condition, again because of water conditions. The tile is missing, buckled floors. Electrical system is in hazardous condition. And we have possible wood rot due to, again, water leakage. We have hazardous stairs, balcony.
Now look at the youth of Santa Ana right there. That girl, she's styling, and that kid is styling. He's on his bicycle, he's sitting on the rail, and they both got notices on each door to your left and the door to the right. They both have notices to move, posted out, outside their door, and that's messed up. And you see how she's styling right now, the young lady. It doesn't look like she live in the slums. So she's styling. She's going outside because they have to keep living. So despite their living conditions, they're gonna make the best of it. So this is the real deal right here. This is real deal Santa Ana. It doesn't matter if they don't have a lot of money. It doesn't matter if they live in a rundown apartment building. They still gonna make the best of their situation. And looking at them and their appearance, they are making the best of their situation. Shout out to Santa Ana again, because this is the real deal Santa Ana 1980.
These handrails due to severe water damage and rot. This is caused by improper maintenance and the weathering.
Tenants of these buildings say they can't leave because they can't find other housing they can afford, and there's no emergency housing available. Mike Elias, director of the Christian Temporary Housing Facility, confirms their fears.
Speak for all the emergency.
And there's another older black lady in the background. And there's a nice, look at all those station wagons in the background. Look at the OG dude to the right. It's just like, you guys pay attention to everything in this video, including the background. Look at these regular folks.
Shelters in Orange County, they could not be placed. There is just no vacancy factor, period. The best that we would do to coordinate such an effort, if it should happen, would be to locate a church, school, or something like that.
Guadalupe Valencia, through an interpreter, made a plea for help.
But she wanted to know if anybody was, between all of us, was come up with something to help them what to do.
So, looking at her face, Guadalupe Valencia, look at her face. Like she's worried. She's very worried right now, looking at her face. And the older lady who's giving her the interpretation, giving the news lady the interpretation, it's like they are very worried. Look at her. She don't know where to go with her kids. So they know they need to remedy this. The owners need to remedy this. And the answer is not to kick the people out. So I hope she's doing well. And shout out to Miss Valencia.
Between all of us will come up with something to help them what to do.
The people in these buildings say they don't like living in a slum, but they have no choice. And until they do, they're going to stay right here.
That's right. They're not going nowhere. Exactly. They don't like living in a slum. They got no choice. They got nowhere to go. So they don't have nowhere to go. Like, where I'm gonna go? Like, the rents, we can barely afford rent now. Where am I gonna go? They got nowhere to go. So no, they're not going nowhere. So that's why people want to stay in their conditions. They just want to stay. It's just where I'm gonna go. I'm gonna have to get rent money, deposit money, last month, all that stuff, and I gotta pack up. People not trying to do all that. They're not trying to do all that. Stop blaming the people and blame the property owners and the property management of that apartment building. Overcrowded made it do that. No, not maintaining the building made it do that. Because if they were savages, they would have looked like savages, and not one person in the background looked like a damn savage. They all was in neat appearance, and they all was looking the best way they could, and looking presentable. So if they were savages, it would look like a apartment building from New York City in '91.
And until they do, they're going to stay right here. In Santa Ana, I'm T.U. Luke reporting for News Check. Until they do, these buildings say they don't like living in a slum. The people in these buildings say they don't like living in a slum, but they have no choice. And until they do, they're going to stay right here. In Santa Ana, I'm T.U. Luke reporting for News Check. It's on Myrtle Street.
So they're not going nowhere. Shout out to the people of Santa Ana. Your history is not forgotten, and we will talk about Orange County history on my page, on my channel. So stay tuned for that. So shout out to everybody in Santa Ana and Orange County in general. And you guys stay tuned for some more videos.